This here is our 1949 WL. It is original paint. Duncan Keller's done all the work for this bike for me. It was not in this condition when we got it. It was so dusty, you could not tell hardly that it was black. It had been wrecked. We had to straighten the handlebars, find most of the headlight, straighten the headlight bucket, straighten the front crash bar. I located the floorboards, located the hand grips. The seat is new old stock. It has what's called a chrome package on it, and that is why it has the chrome headlight and the chrome tail light right here and right there. Now, at one point in its life, I assume the original owner put on these accessory fender tips here, and again here, beautiful accessory fender tips. This is an all original bike. Every nut and bolt is correct. The little rocker pads are new old stock there. This is a 49, so 49 did come with these covers here in stainless steel. That's a 1 year only deal. I had to find air accessory gas caps for it. We have the oil cap here. Now I have the dash off because we just rewired it, and I want to show the wiring. So we just rewired the bug, and Duncan hadn't found us the tape that we needed. This, he excelled, and we have the tape. This is just like the factory loom. We have the tape here, it's twisted down here and wrapped up. And to say I'm happy about that is just beyond ecstatic. Well, that's the little differences there that make all the difference between the bike is wow or the bike is, well, okay. This is a wow. Now, these handlebars are accessory bars. Harley had them, Flanders had them, Nation Built had them. They're probably all built by the same company. At the time, in 1949, these bars here were $35 for the whole kit. And it takes different cables and all that. That was a lot of money, 35 bucks. So we built the handlebars now. Unfortunately, we could not get the correct cloth fiber cables, and I have to have those made or make them. But they do offer these vinyl ones, and the cables are always bent. So we just put that in to get down the road. That's the only thing that's really wrong with this bike is these cables. So if we end up keeping this bike, we'll fix that. This mirror is Harley Davidson. It's not a mirror accessory one. It is a Harley Davidson mirror, and it's new old stock. That's incredibly rare. It was very expensive for me to get that. The exhaust is original. The tires are new old stock. The roll bite lenses here are new old stock. Now we've rebuilt the motor, we've rebuilt the transmission. When the guy wrecked it, somehow it caught this piece here and busted the case. So I had to replace the entire tranny case as well as rebuild the tranny. There's nothing on this bike that's not original paint except the cylinders. We couldn't not get back the original paint, and it was just gone. I had to find right battery cover lid for it here. We got that. We carefully rebuilt the wheels. Those are the original rims it came with. Those are factory rims. Those are original spokes it came with. We just derusted them and used our special Gibbs to patina them so they don't rust again. And I just washed and polished this bike after letting it soak with Gibbs, and the Gibbs just goes right in the metal. Look at this beautiful, beautiful dark cad patina it leaves. It's just wow, just incredible stuff. So the little Delco Weenie cap on the relay, that's a chrome accessory. You had to buy that. I think it was $3. So we're gonna fire it up and show you. It's all working, headlight, horn, and everything's all rewired. When I got the bike, it was just a shell. We had to come up with a rim. This rim is off my 46, which had been wrecked as well. And so it kind of fit in because the bike had obviously been scraped, but we had to come up with a lens, had to come up with the internal guts. Didn't have any of that. So it was not in this shape, but it is a good running machine now. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a rear chain on it. This rear chain works, but it's so old. I'm going to do that. I left the dash cover off to show you the wiring and also show you the dash cover. This style dash came out in early 47, which I've mentioned in other videos. We have the early little generator oil light here. The later ones were different. And it is white paint on the inside. That is correct. That is stock. That is original. That's the little clip there, little side cover here. This is the original piece. Now, Harley Davidson was known for repainting their own sheet metal if they needed something. So I'm gonna walk across the shop here and show you a little something else on an original paint bike. That is obviously an original piece. Well, bear with me. We're gonna walk across the shop here. And we're gonna go look at a 49. That is a panhead. And it is an original paint bike. And this little piece here is painted. And you're going, well, how can that be? Well, it can be because if Harley Davidson grabbed this dash and it would say black or red or some other color than blue, they didn't pull that little piece out, paint it, and put it back in. This blue is a special order for 1949. It wasn't a standard issue. It was a special order. So they didn't have a blue dash sitting. They had to go make a blue dash. So they grabbed an existing dash and painted it. So of course it wouldn't be CAD. It's a special order paint for 49. So that is why that happened to this particular bike. So that is an original paint machine. Absolutely. So let's walk back over here. We're going to fire this bike up here. There's a flathead, so we have a carburetor on this side, not on this side. Big twin and small twin flatheads all had the carburetors on the wrong side of the bike. That's by today's standards. At the time, that was more common. It was actually the overhead valve that had one wrong side because they were new. These little caps I found, they're new old stock. Pretty cool, huh? Kind of hard to get. We're just going to fire it up on the stand, in part because I want to show you the bike straight up. In this 45, I want to show you how smooth this bike runs. The controls are actually fully working now. These are later controls than your knucklehead style controls, and they were bad. They were bad design. So it was very difficult for us to actually make them work. This is our third attempt, believe it or not. They're working good now. Anything unusual? The bike is not hopping all over the place. Because it's a 45, and that's how well Duncan has balanced this motor. That's bear nerfing in the background, top doo-doo. Watch this bike. Look what she's inside on the stand. Look at the mirror. Look at the background in the mirror. Look how smooth it is. You can actually see things in the mirror. I can actually see out the rear view mirror. That's freaking incredible. A big twin will not do that. So it's burning off our stuff that we squirted all down with when we polished it. So I haven't fired it up since I washed it yesterday. But I can actually look at people behind me and see them in the rear view mirror on this bike. That's really neat. It's just cool. The only thing we haven't done to this bike is actually have the front fork off the frame, put the fork in the frame on the jig. So, with one exception, the Speedo drive on these, right down here, goes into the rear wheel. And people always forget to take the speedo drive out, and they pull the rear wheel off, and they shatter the fiber. And a buddy of mine had some NOS ones, and he's burning all that crap off. Had some NOS fibers, and I got one, and she immediately pulled itself in half. So they're just too old. So 45s Unlimited is making brass gears, and we just haven't got around to actually redoing that yet. So the speedo here, the speedo is not working. So the speedo it came with was not the original miles anyways, and this is a much better quality condition speedo, which I pulled off another bike and put on this one, which equals the condition of this machine, and that's why the speedo's on here. Who knows how many miles are on this bike originally? Don't know. Doesn't matter, because this is all rebuilt. Irrelevant. You know, if it was relevant at all, I should actually, you know, put the speedo back to 0. And don't even know if that speedo works. It just looks really good. So just because it goes around and spins up and everything, the problem is these speedos have gears. There's grease inside. The grease is now 50, 60, 70 years old on these old speedos, and it's gummy, so they don't work the right mileage and haven't been working the right mileage for a long time. So these original mile bikes that people say, oh, it's got, whoa, this many miles. Well, guess what? It could have a lot more or a lot less. And it's usually a lot less, because as these speedos get gummy, they start tripping too fast, not too slow. So our bug bike, the 56, this odometer is actually running at twice the speed as the trip meter, which is a lot more accurate to the actual mileage I was going. So it's actually got about 13 or 15,000 real miles on it, not 27, 29,000, what shows on the speedo. So here's the rear wheel. Just look how nice that Gibbs patina is, everything. Isn't that fucking beautiful? I just love that stuff. It's so cool. Anyhow, guys, off to the next video, and we'll see you later. I just wanted to give you an update on this beautiful 49WL. It's nearly impossible to get a 45 in this kind of cosmetic condition. This is really rare. You're going, yeah, it's a 45. It's like, well, show me how many others have you ever seen in this kind of cosmetic condition that are post-war. I've seen one. That's it. One other one. That's it. That's all I've ever seen. Because they were not made very many, because it was after the war, because you can get scrap metal bikes from the war, $50 a bike. And why spend the money for this when you can get an Army Green one and ride it for 50 bucks? And once it became used, it became dirt bikes. The young kids got them, used them, abused them, chopped them, and they just did not get saved like this. So this is actually a very rare bike. See you guys later. Bye.